Is Tesla stockpiling 4680s in advance of the launch of the Semi and Cybertruck? Filling warehouses? Who knows? I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. Well, a viewer named Carl sent me the following message. Quick idea. Maybe Tesla is intentionally holding off on 4680 production to soak up as much of world battery production as possible in order to slow the competition. When pumped hand soap first came to the market, Soft Soap ordered 100 million soap pumps for this very reason. They prevented the competition from entering the market for a full year. The link he shared shows how the inventor of liquid hand soap bet the farm to lock up the needed bits and how it worked. If he hadn't done that, the bigger players would have jumped into the market before he got a foothold and outcompete him on margin, distribution, and existing shelf space. The gamble worked out. He bought all the pumps and all the bottles made in the US for a full year, and eventually his company was sold to Colgate-Palmolive for $56 million. Well, this message sent me down a rabbit hole. I started by thinking it's crazy or silly, then plausible, then too expensive, and wound up with, well, here we go. The wild theory is that maybe there is no bottleneck on 4680 battery cells. Tesla has publicly stated that batteries in general are not a bottleneck, at least twice now, but they didn't say it was true of this particular form factor. One way to read this is that the machines are up and running, but intentionally running below capacity, which isn't too far-fetched. Get each line cranked up to 11 so you know it works, roll it back down to 20%, start getting the next one dialed in, rinse, and repeat. They could have 4680 lines capable of far greater output at Giga Nevada, Giga Texas, and the Kato Road test facility in Fremont. We already know that they're expanding in Nevada, and I believe that that expansion is going to increase the number of 4680 cells they can produce. Knowing Tesla, they could also already have additional plants running somewhere that we don't know about yet, but that's less likely. The second way to read it, and the more interesting outsider theory, is that Tesla is well into production of the 4680 cells, and they're starting to fill warehouses with at least the cells, but maybe even completed packs. I mean, there are problems with this theory, but let's first consider if it would even be feasible. So why would Tesla do this? Well, for one thing, they'd be soaking up raw materials, likely at low contract prices locked in before the pandemic. They seldom cancel supply orders, regardless of delays, as we saw with parts availability as the lockdown ended. While everyone else was scrambling to reestablish their supply lines, often at a higher cost, Tesla just kept accepting deliveries. Considering the Semi will take massive amounts of battery, it's very likely that they planned to need these volumes well before now. So part of it could be that they need to use these supplies that they have ordered, and this is one way to do it. Soaking up these supplies would make it harder for the competition to get their batteries, and harder still to get them at low prices. A big hole in this theory, though, is Texas would have preferred to make exclusively 4680 Model Ys rather than having to bring in equipment to make the 2170 variant. And the 2170s used are from Giga Nevada, which can't sell them to anyone else, so they'd be stealing their own already exclusive supply. That part doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's keep going. If Tesla is stockpiling batteries, this would absolutely load the spring for a massive launch of Semi and Cybertruck. Sandy Monroe told us in an interview earlier this year that he believes the Cybertruck will be produced at a very high rate due to its simplicity, which would leave the Giga Castings as the limiting factor. We know they'll have at least one 9,000-ton press configured in time for the expected launch in mid-2023, and considering the lead time to manufacture, configure, ship, and assemble, it's likely it'll be the only one they have at launch. The peak production rate for the 6,000-ton press is about 70 seconds per piece, and this should be comparable in the 9,000-ton version. So that gives you 1,200 castings a day would be the theoretical max production, 600 cars a day, 219,000 cars a year, while waiting for the next gigapress to enter service. Let's round it down by 10% for maintenance, rejects, and swapping out the dies. That's still 200,000 Cybertrucks a year. They could also opt for a split casting design, like the early Model Y used, where the rear assembly is two pieces fixed together, though it's not clear if that solution would handle the stresses required. So sure, maybe they are stockpiling vast quantities of cells or packs. But let's take a second to poke some holes in this theory. First, batteries are capital intensive. They cost a lot of money. Globally, Tesla makes about 4,000 cars a day, and if a Tesla pack costs $10,000, using a round number rather than a precise one, that would be $40 million in packs for a single day of production. So what do you think is a fair number for the early target for the Cybertruck production? 600 a day is the theoretical maximum, though they could also stockpile castings once the gigapress is running. Even using round numbers, the Cybertruck packs are likely to cost closer to $15,000, so 600 packs is $9 million. A 10-day supply is $90 million. A full quarter supply would be over $800 million. Now, I am sure that there are battery cells and packs in storage, and that the highest number will be over 100, but far, far short of 54,000. Not only because it would batter and fry the quarterly financial reports, which, make no mistake, it would, but also because you would quickly run into an issue with storage space. The packs are very heavy. You're not going to stack them to the rafters, probably not going to stack them higher than 3 to 4. Footage out of Berlin this week showed what looked to me like crates of battery packs, and they're stacked no higher than 4. You figure 90 square feet for the footprint, with packaging and buffer space. Divide that by 4 for the stacking. That's 23 square feet of floor space required on a per pack basis. Average warehouse space is 85 cents a square foot, and surely far less than that in no man's land, halfway between Reno and Austin. So figure $30 a month to store each pack, while allowing for room to move around them at least. Even a year of storage would be under $400 a pack, against the likely sale price at launch of $60,000 to $90,000 per truck. Store them half as long, and it's comparable to the savings introduced by eliminating the ultrasonic proximity sensors. Storing 54,000 packs wouldn't be trivial, but it would be doable. 1.5 million square feet is all you'd need. You could fit it in a single building if you wanted, though there could be fire safety considerations making dozens of smaller warehouses a better choice. One last thing on stockpiling and the financials behind it. If they are stockpiling batteries, these would hit as expenses for parts that are not being offset by sales. That means the margin would appear artificially low, and if they accelerate the rate at which they're hoarding the packs, the margin could look progressively worse. Higher costs and lower margin could lower investor confidence and reduce the stock price, and all for the bargain basement price of less than $1 billion. Tesla would appear less profitable in the short term, but why would they want to do that? Why would they want to tank the stock price? Well, maybe that is when they would buy back billions worth of the stock. If they did this, a significant part of the Cybertruck's total cost would have already been accounted for in a previous quarter, which would make the Q3 and Q4 2023 numbers insanely profitable, and return the forward-looking financials back to a neutral place. We're getting a bit into conspiracy territory, so we'll end it there. A quick thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, and quite literally keep this small cottage channel running. And to everyone else, smack of the like, subscribe, tell a friend, open the window and shout all about it. Whatever you want, it all helps. So, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts, your wisdom, your blind and brilliance into them comments below, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop. Welcome to the time and a half overtime bonus. Here's your time and a half pay for hanging out. This is in response to the whole thing about profit margins on cars. Well, Tesla didn't make money on their cars until a few years ago. Give Ford a few years to figure this out, and they will make money on EVs. You see, I had said that margins were an obstacle to the legacy guys actually competing. And I believe that. That holds true. Because even without the EV credits, the ZEV credits, Tesla is profitable. But a lot of these legacy guys are losing money on every car they sell, and that's okay because they're using it to offset their own carbon emissions. They're not having to buy ZEV credits from Tesla or someone like them. That's not sustainable. You have to have a profit margin or you're going to lose. Give Ford a few years to figure this out and they will make money on EVs. Maybe. I hope so. But it doesn't appear to be the case right now. That roadmap does not exist. We've been told for 10 years that all they have to do is flip the switch, just convert the line from internal combustion to EV, and boom, Bob's your uncle, away you go, profit. We now know that's not true. They're spending $1 billion, billions, tens of billions to convert their factories, and it's killing them. And they've got a lot of factories to convert. This is a problem. Give them a few years to figure it out. They've had 10. Ford has been making electric cars for a long time. I don't know what to tell. GM's been making electric cars longer than Tesla has existed. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Give them a few years. I hope so. I hope they can sort it out before they die, but I am not convinced. This has been your time and a half overtime bonus. Thanks for hanging out.